So last class, I think we started on the catalog items. So we discussed about the high level flow of the catalog items, right? So whenever a request is raised from the catalog item, a request record will be created, and that request will be associated with the requested item record, and the requested item record, RITM record, will be associated with the catalog task. So you should remember these table names. In which tables these are created, you should remember them. Right. So now let's see them practically. How would they basically work? Still it is waking up. Wait for some more time. So whenever you try to build a new catalog item, you also need to understand variables. Okay. So I've shown you in the previous discussion when we started discussing on catalog items. Every catalog items will have some variables. Variables are similar to the fields. Variables are similar to the fields, and end user, please go on mute. Variables are similar to the fields. So user has to fill all the variables before he places an order or before he raises a request. User fills in the variables present on the catalog item. Present on the catalog item, and then clicks on order now. Okay. Now, so let's see. So these are all existing catalog items. So if you want to configure a new catalog item, so you can type maintain items in the application navigator, and you see catalog definitions and the maintain items. Click on this. So these are all the existing catalog items. So let's open any of the catalog item. So my custom item 11, and it is under service catalog hierarchy, and software is the category. So as I said, every catalog item will follow hierarchy: catalog, category, and catalog items, right? So here also this catalog item, my custom item 11, has been placed under this service catalog and then category. So go to the portal and verify. So go to request something. This is by default a service catalog. So category is software. Click on this. So you will see the item placed under this category. So my custom item 11. Click on this. So this is a catalog item name, and this is a short description, and this is a detailed description. This is an image of the catalog item, and these are all the variables. See, so they're similar to the fields, but they're not called as fields. They are called variables here in the catalog items. Right. So end users will fill the variables, okay, whichever are mandatory variables, they have to be filled, and optional variables depending upon, right, whether to fill or not, that's up to the user, but mandatory fields should be filled without fail. Then click on order now. So these are all the properties, portal related properties, so we'll discuss about them. So click on order now. So for whom you are raising a request, you can select that user here. If you're raising for yourself, it can be your name. If you are raising on behalf of other user, you can select other username here. Click on checkout. So request has been placed, right? So this way end user will place an order. So let's get back to the configuration part of it. So how do we navigate? So type maintain items in the application navigator, and then open you'll get the list of items here. Apply the filter condition to check for your item, and then open that record, and this is the actual record of the catalog item, especially for this. So now this is the name of the item, right? So every item will have some name. So this is the name, and it is placed under service catalog. So there are various catalogs here. This is a list kind of field, right? So you can select any catalog from this list. So these are all the various catalogs. So when you add any of these catalogs here onto this field, so this item will be present on all the selected catalogs. And you can also select category. So categories will show up based upon the catalog that you're selecting here. So based on the catalog that you're selecting here, categories will be filtered and shown to you. So you can select the category here, right? And it's a active catalog item, and workflow will talk about it in some time. And coming to the details of the item. So this item has short description. So this is a short description, and this detailed description is this, right? Process engine. So this is the workflow. Two fields we have. Okay, this one and this one is same. So we can add workflow here. So picture. So this item has this picture. So you can also add your own picture for the item. So all these things will be provided to you as part of the requirement. So you have to use them and then build them. To understand them, and you have to build the catalog item. Pricing. So cost of this item is $0. Okay. And then portal settings. So on this portal settings already think yeah, so we'll discuss. So these are all the properties related to the portal. So you have these properties, right? Go back. So these are all the properties related to the parent. Quantity is a property, delivery time or add to cart, right? Right. These are all the properties related to the portal. So if you want to control these properties here, so you can check here. So if you want to hide this add to cart, you can check this to true for this item. So on this item, add to cart will be hidden. And if you want to hide quantity, so you can check this to true. So quantity will be hidden. Hide delivery date and time. So is there any delivery date? Yes, it is there. So if you want to hide it, you can hide it. Hide add to wish list. There is no add to wish list here, so you can ignore it. Hide attachment. You want to hide the attachment. See at the bottom, you see a paperclip icon here to add the attachments. Right? If you want to hide it, you can use this option. So save it, verify. Save all these portal changes, settings. Come back to the portal, refresh. See here, none of the options are showing up here because we have made them to hide using these options. So these are all the options related to the portal. So you can control them. So few of the items customers will be asking to hide quantity, to hide add to cart, to hide delivery time. So you can hide that way. Clear? So now let's talk about variables. So variables are present on the catalog item. So these are all the variables. Bring it. So these are all the variables. So variables are similar to the fields, and user fills the variables on the catalog item before placing in the order. So before placing the order itself, user fills all these variables and then clicks on order now. Right. So there are different variable types. Okay. So like how we have different field types, so you have different variable types. So we'll have to discuss about the variable types as well. We'll do that. Right. So let's start building a new catalog item. We'll understand them clearly. Any questions up till now? Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Right, let's continue. So we want to create new catalog item. So before that, let's understand variables. Okay. Variable types. So like how we discussed field types on the tables. So here there are variable types. So first is single line text. Okay. Single line text. It is similar to the string field. Okay. Multi-line text. It is similar to the string field, but maximum size is high. Maximum size is high. That means user can enter more data on this variable compared to single line text. Next, reference. It is similar to the reference field. Okay, exactly same. It is similar to the reference field. So it will be reference to some table to pull out the records from the table and then reference them on the variable. So date and time, it is similar to date and time field. Okay, it stores the date and time information. Select box, it is similar to the choice field, which contains drop down choices. Drop down choices, lookup select box. Lookup select box, it's a drop down, type variable which has choice values taken from the choice values show from the table, right? List collector, it is similar to the list field, okay, which can be used to reference to multiple records. Next, containers. Containers are used to align the variables in proper format. Okay, so you can use the container to place the or align the variables in a proper format, left alignment, right alignment, in proper order you can place them. Next, label is used to add heading on the catalog item. So label, so you see label, the name itself says it's a heading kind of thing, so you can add heading kind of text on the catalog item. Checkbox, or you can say multiple choice. It is a variable which can have multiple choices. User will be allowed to select only one choice from the available choices. So multiple choice is a type of variable where it has choices. and user will be able to select only one choice at a time. Okay, next checkbox. It is a true or false kind of field which is used to, which has two values, true or false. If the checkbox is checked, then value is true. And if checkbox is unchecked, then value is false. Right? So I think this item has all those variables. So I'll show you. So this is a reference variable. So this is a reference variable where user can select, where user can reference to any user record. So you won't see the complete details here, which table it is referenced, right? We'll not see those details in the portal. But you can see here, this is a user's data. So it is a reference variable and it is a string field, okay, where you can enter some data, normal data, alphanumeric combination, any string data you can add here, right? Next, this is also a reference field. So this is also a reference field where I can select reference variable, where I can select a user record, right? That I can reference here. And this is a string field and it's not editable. It's a read-only field. And manager is also a reference variable and it is also a reference variable, a reference to user table, and it's not editable. Okay. And coming to this, so this is something like a label type of variable, right? So it's a heading kind of the variable. So you can see the heading is added here. Just a moment. Not heading. This is not heading. So this is a heading. So work details you see here. This is a heading. This is something like a container start title. We'll talk about that. This is a label actually. Okay. And this is a checkbox. I can check this to true, uncheck, check, uncheck. Right. So if it is checked, then it is the value is true. If it is unchecked, the value is false. This is a date and time variable where you can select the date and time information, right? Category. So it's a choice type of variable, drop down, right? Drop down type of variable. So it is called select box. And it's a multiple choice location, right? So user can select only one choice or one option at a time. So it's called multiple choice. It is yes or no type of variable that is also there. Yes or no type variable. So it's a drop down choice. which has drop down values yes, comma, no. Okay. Support group. So it is something similar to that of a reference field, but it's not a reference. Okay, here, so, no, it is something similar to the drop down choice, right? You're seeing drop down values here, but it is something similar to the reference field. All these drop down choices are coming up from table. All these drop down choices are coming up from a table, reference to table. So you can select any choice here, right? So you will see that whatever the choice value that you selected, that is actually stored on this particular variable. Okay, it's not referencing the entire record here. It's not referencing the entire record of this particular selected value. It's just storing the value of this selected item or selected choice here. So this support group now stores App Engine Studio users. This is just the value. It's not going to store the SysID of this record, referenced record. Okay, we'll see that practically next. So this is again another container. So this is one container and this is another container. See here, within the container, I'm able to align the variables in proper order. So first column variables, second column variables, a proper alignment. So this in this container, there are no two column to align the variables. There's only a single column. So all the variables are aligned in the single column. Right. So this is the container here. This is a multi-line text. No, single line text. Short description is a single line text. You can enter string data here, any data. Detailed description. Detailed description. It is also similar to the single line text, but you can enter more data here. You can enter more data here. And department, it's called the list collector. So it is something similar to the choice, but these are all the records coming up from a table. So you can reference, okay, this variable with multiple records. It is similar to just a list type of field. So list can be used to reference to multiple records, right? So here also list collector can be used to reference to multiple records, right? So these are all the different variable types. Any questions so far? Anybody? Am I going too fast, too slow? Able to follow me? Am I audible?
Yes, Dilip.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Is my speed okay? Or am I going too fast, too slow?
Yeah, okay. Dilip.
Okay, sir.
Right. So let's start building a new catalog item. So we'll take this model account, okay? Model item. We'll take this model item, we'll create similar item, okay? Because we do not know like what all variables that we can add and we'll give proper shape. So we need a model item. So in actual project, okay, you'll be given with the item name, and then the description of the item, and picture may or may not be shared with you. So if it is shared, you can add the picture, otherwise not. All these variables which are to be created, those details will be shared with you. So you have to create those variables only. Okay. So whenever you get a chance to create catalog item in your project, you have to follow these things. Name, short description, detailed description, variables, all the information will be given to you. Just you need to understand and then create them. Getting it? So now observe carefully. Type maintain items in the application navigator. Click on this. User will be navigated to the catalog items list. Click on new to create new item. So name it. So I'm saying test item. So I just named it this way. Test item 9 a.m. underscore 2. So you have to give the name which is given to you in the requirements. You have to use that name here. Okay. But since this is a just lab environment, I'm just giving this name. So catalogs. So select the catalog. Where do you want to place this item? Select the catalog. Right. Select the catalog. Select the catalog. So these are all the list of catalogs. You can select any catalog. Select this category. Select the category. Say peripherals, for example. So this is a category. You should select the category properly based upon what type of item you're actually creating, right? So that category information, catalog information also will be given to you. Next, go to the item details, give some short description. So copy any text you can copy. Right, I copied this text. Right, next description. Can you give the description here? Description generally gives the specification details of the item. So I can copy any text. Process engine. So I see something called execution plan, which is default here, and I don't see any workflow or flow added here. So we'll come back to this execution plan. Next, come to picture. Add picture here. Take some picture, add it here. Take some picture, add it. Right, add it. Pricing, let it be as it is, don't change. All these properties, do not use them right now. Okay, keep them as it is, then save. So item is created, but still we have many things to do. So let's check. So go to the portal. So go to the portal, click on request something. So go to the peripherals and check for the item. So test item 9 AM to, right? So check for that.
Ebo is there.
Right, above is there, correct. So here it is. Click on this. So this is our item, and this is a picture and details. And we can place the order without any variables as well. Not an issue, but we'll create few variables. So click on this related list variables. Click on new. So how you created fields, similarly you're creating variables here, but the way you create them will be different, but properties will remain same, right? So now there is no form design here. Okay, you have to create it from variables related list only. And you can see here type is nothing but what type of variable you want to create. Select the type. So first what I will do is I'll try to create some reference variable. So these are all the available types. Based on the requirement, you will use these types to create the variables. So select reference. So reference, and then so like field and tables, they have two different names, right? Variables also have two different names. One is question and other is name. Question is nothing but the display name. Name is nothing but backend name of the variable. Question is the display name. So I'm saying reference variable, I'm giving this name, the reported user. Okay, reported user, and give the order. Order is nothing but where should the variable be placed. Okay, what is the sequence basically? So you can give the order as 100. Starting order can be 100, or you can use any number basically from 0 to infinity. You can use any number. So this order will mention the sequence of the variable to be placed on the item. Sequence of the variable. Next, so this is the name of the variable, and so this is a reference variable. Select the reference table. So go to type specifications. So here select the table, which table you want to reference it. Say select the table as sys_user. Right. So this is a table that I'm selecting on the reference. Now add some filter condition here. So you can see some reference qualifiers here. Simple, dynamic, and advanced. Simple means simple filter condition. So users like it will show all the records from the user table. But if you want to show only specific records to be selected, then you can apply the filter condition here. Say active. Active is true. So I want to show only active user records on the list to select on this particular variable. So we'll see that. So submit. So before submitting, I want to set the default value on this variable. Okay, I want to select the default value on this variable. So you can come here onto the default value. You can set the default value with the logged in user information. So you can default it to logged in user. So you can say something like this: JavaScript gs dot get user ID. So this is going to give you the SysID of the logged in user, and you can set it as a default value on this particular variable. Now submit. So a variable is created here. Go and verify. Open the item. See here, reported user is a variable, and you can see it is it is the default, is having the default value in the logged in user, and you can select any other user here. You can select any other user, but by default it will be set with the logged in user. So observe one thing here. You can select any user, but all these users are active true users. Active true users. So because we applied condition here, only to show active true users. Active false users are not going to be shown here. Active true users only will be shown here. Alright, so this is called a reference qualifier. So condition applied on the reference table to filter the records or to show the list of records. It is called a reference qualifier. Right? Add few more variables onto this item. So click on new. Right? So create one more variable. Say so type as email. So this is used to store the email address. So that's also one type of variable. Stores email address. Now, so give the question. So in the question section, you can see question and name. Give some name. So I say email address. So this is a name, and the name will be populated by default. See, this is a backend name of the variable. Right. So it's a email type of variable, and I'm giving the order as 200. So it is going to be placed next to the reported user variable. Save it. Make it read only. So you can make variables read only or mandatory using these options. Right? Refresh. So this is a email address variable, and it's a read-only variable. I can't enter any data here. See here, I see red circle with cross mark, right? So it means that it's a read-only. I can't edit it, right? So next, we'll create few more variables. So go to this item. Click on new. So create one more variable. Say it as a reference. Order as 300. So give name as manager. And type specification. So select the reference table as user table. Sys underscore user. Sys underscore user and submit. Make it read only. Submit. Right. Now refresh. So you can see 3 variables are created. Right. Now see, they are occupying entire screen space. Okay. And I want to partition these variables into 2 columns because they're not looking good basically if they're occupying entire screen space, right? So I can split them into 2 different columns here, left side and right side, and place the variables. So if you want to split the columns, if you want to split the variables into 2 columns, then you can use containers. You can use containers. So observe carefully here. On each of the variable, so you have type specification here, right? So say for example, reported user variable, and you have type specification section, and you can say variable width is 50%. System default width is 50%. That means this variable can occupy 50% of the screen space. But it is not happening here in the portal. In the portal, complete space is being occupied. Though it is supposed to occupy only 50%, it is occupying entire screen space. So in order to make sure that variables are arranged properly to give a proper look for the form, what we can do is we can use containers and arrange the variables in proper order. Okay, so now, so here is a place where you can see the size width of the variable, any variable on the type specification. Now click on new. So I want to place all these 3 variables into some container. Okay, container can be used to pack all these variables, 3 variables together. Okay, so observe carefully here. Click on new, the variables. So select the type of variable as container start. Okay, container start. So container start is the variable that you can use to split the variables, okay, or place the variables in the container. So start with the container start and then give some name for this. Reported user details. Okay, give some name for this container. Say order as 50. Okay, so we started with variables order as 100, right? So this containers should start before the variable. Okay, the order should be less than all the variables. So I'm giving order as 50. And type specification, here you can see layout. So layout is nothing but in which format or in which layout you want to place the variables. Is it one column wide? One column wide means only single column this way. All the variables will be arranged. Is it two columns wide? Alternate sides. That means in two different columns, variables will be arranged alternatively, one after the other. Two columns wide, one side then the other. Two columns again. First, all the variables will be arranged in first column. Next, variables will be shifted and arranged in the second column. So that's the third option. Go for this two columns wide, alternate sides. That means two columns, one after the other, variables will be arranged. One variable left, one variable right, one variable left, one variable right. Okay. So based on the order, the variables will be arranged here. Now submit. So you can see here, go to the item. So we placed all these three variables into this container and we started the container, end the container. Okay, you have to end the container. So till which all variables you want to place them in the container, all these three variables. You may add few more variables, but we want to use this container only for these three variables. So end the container. So you should give the order as more than 300 for the container end. Say container end. Okay, give order as 400. Right, click on submit. Go to the portal, refresh your form. See here, the variables are arranged in two different columns. So this is order 100, this is order 200, next order 300, next in case if there are any variables with 400, 500, all those variables will be arranged alternatively in two different columns. Clear? So right now the container title is not displaying here. You can display the container title as well if you want. So on this container start, you have an option called display title. Click on this, then update. Go and refresh. So this is the title of the container. Any questions? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Any questions so far? Any doubts?
Dilip, you give the default value, right? The system user reported user.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
JavaScript like that.
Yes.
Is this mandatory for that? Whereas we can give the system admin right in the place of JavaScript.
I logged in. I mean, for example, Abel Tutor is logging in. Okay. His username should be populated here, right? You cannot show
Ah.
system administrator.
దిలీప్,
So
మీరు జావాస్క్రిప్ట్ డాట్ యూజర్ గట్ అని ఇచ్చారు కదా,
Hmm.
అది ఆ కోడ్ మ్యాండేటరీ అని అడుగుతుంది.
mandatory అంటే mandatory అని కాదు, ఇట్ విల్ బి గుడ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మీరు ఒక ఐటమ్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు ఇట్లా ఒక రిఫరెన్స్ ఫీల్డ్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నారు అనుకోండి యూజర్ రిలేటెడ్ గా. సో పీపుల్ విల్ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ దట్ బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఇట్ షుడ్ పాపులేట్ మై నేమ్ హియర్. ఓకే. అండ్
Yes.
later if they want to change, they can change it. It's a better practice basically. మీరు ఏదైనా ఫామ్ ఓపెన్ చేశారు అనుకోండి, ఫామ్ ఎక్కడైతే యూజర్ రిలేటెడ్ ఫీల్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయో బై డిఫాల్ట్ మీరు సెలెక్ట్ చేయకుండానే మీ డేటా పాపులేట్ అయితే మీరు వేరే ఫీల్డ్స్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవడానికి వర్క్ చేయొచ్చు వితౌట్ సెలెక్టింగ్ యువర్ నేమ్ స్పెసిఫికల్లీ, బికాస్ యూఆర్ లాగింగ్ ఇన్. If you're seeing the form is loading with your user details, that's good actually. If you want to change it, you can change it. అంటే మీరు సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవడం తర్వాత వేరే యూజర్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటే చేసుకోవచ్చు. బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ బెటర్ ఆల్వేస్ టు పాపులేట్ యువర్ యూజర్ డీటెయిల్స్ ఆర్ లాగ్డ్ ఇన్ యూజర్ డీటెయిల్స్ when form is loaded. Understanding?
Yes, Dilip.
It's a better design basically.
యాక్చువల్గా మా క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే, ఆ కోడ్ అనేది కంపల్సరీ అంటే డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూ కోడ్ ఉండాలా, లేకపోతే నార్మల్ లేకపోయినా ఇది
లేకపోతే రాదు. ఆ కోడ్
అది
యాడ్ చేసింది ఎందుకంటే ఇలా పాపులేట్ చేయడానికి, లాగ్డ్ ఇన్ యూజర్ డీటెయిల్స్ పాపులేట్ చేయడానికి. వితౌట్ యాడింగ్ దట్ కోడ్ యూ విల్ నాట్ సీ సిస్టమ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్ ఆర్ లాగ్డ్ ఇన్ యూజర్ డీటెయిల్స్ హియర్. ఇలా రావడానికి అక్కడ యాడ్ చేయాలి కంపల్సరీ.
అది క్వశ్చన్.
రైట్. ఓకే. Any other questions, anybody? All right. Thank you. We'll continue tomorrow.
Thank you.